You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
You ready?
I don't know, Mr. Grumpy Pants.
I am very grumpy.
No, I don't like recording when you're grumpy.
Well, you're going to have to deal with it. Sorry, that's just the reality of life sometimes. Sometimes
I have to deal with you grumpy? I'm fucking aware.
Oh, are you? Is that what we're going to talk about?
I guess so.
Is how I'm grumpy sometimes? I look at the mug Stevie got me for Christmas.
She didn't get
Grumpy
you that.
Old man.
She made that for you.
Right? So, sorry. It's well documented.
What else is on that mug?
Some super sweet,
yeah,
kind, sweet, amazing words from my amazing daughter.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, Stephanie.
Thank you, Craig. Is this our official voice?
Inaugural
I will
podcast.
speak this way the entire time. I am prepared.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you prepared? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I have a bit of a cold, which means I
know.
have my super sexy
It's pretty sexy.
voice on.
Chicka bow, voice.
So the rest of the episode.
You come hither, voice.
Yes, come hither.
Yeah.
Come.
I'm sorry.
Come to me.
I no longer have the ability to speak. So turn this off and well, I don't want to say it because they're going to know.
Floor.
They hit the floor. I don't know what happened. It was like the Joey Tribbiani, how does the broth thing that you do? My panties just went, they're gone. They're gone.
What can I say?
They're gone. If you feel something under the table, it is me.
It's not just a banana in your pocket.
Oh my God. That's not what I did.
We have so many things that I want to talk about on this podcast. I know you got a lot of stuff. You're up in arms about Texas, rightfully so. I don't know if you've noticed recently. They also are, because obviously Texas has a border to Mexico, and they're doing a bunch of border shit down there now as well. On top of the abortion laws that they recently put into place. Before we get into that,
Okay.
we don't talk very often about COVID on this podcast.
We don't anymore.
Yeah, it's not something, I mean, we did for a little bit, obviously, when it was a thing back in the day. And then we haven't really talked about it all that much
Okay.
for a while. Because honestly, it's kind of not that big of a deal in our life. And I also have been hesitant to talk about it on the podcast because of the stigma attached to the topic.
Okay.
Where you have to fall in one side of the aisle or the other, right? There's two camps with COVID. And if you don't fall into either one of those camps, or if you fall into the opposite camp, then you...
It's just complete division.
Yeah, right. And so part of the reason why I didn't want to talk about it on the podcast over the pandemic and everything like that is not wanting to lose listeners, or not wanting to, I don't know, I guess just come off as something that we're not. But I am ready to talk about it.
Okay.
And really, really share my blunt opinion about all of it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
You get to say your opinions.
You can use
is
the
your show.
computer. That's
Can
why I
I?
have it up here.
Okay, well, I just pulled something up, but it's not that.
Yeah,
so I
we
can.
Yeah.
That's why you have it right there.
So it's easy to flip back and forth. We're going to buy a Lazy Susan.
Are we?
So then we can spin it back and forth so
Can I
that we can
just-
both use it.
Spin it like a roulette wheel.
No.
And whoever it lands on is like spin the bottle. Whoever lands on gets the facts.
Gets to make out with the laptop.
Well, it's happened before. He's got a crazy wild night story with a laptop.
I don't kiss the laptop. Have you ever played Spin the Bottle?
I think so. Like I must have.
Yeah, I must have too. I think I have vague recollection of playing Spin the Bottle in the park or something.
Like I must have.
Right.
I mean,
Who knows?
It was, I don't know.
It'd be a fun game to play.
I was a little bit more
Wild and crazy.
God damn it, why did you do that? Not you. Okay, stop.
So, obviously,
My
you know my stance on COVID.
I do know your stance on COVID.
Are you making fun of my voice?
No.
Yes, you are.
I like your voice.
You're
I want to
making fun of
mash
it.
it and bring it out to my sexy voice with yours.
I am pretty fucking fed up with it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty fucking fed up with the way that things are being handled and dealt with and talked about.
I'm fed up with that. Absolutely.
And it's like something happened in 2020.
Something did happen.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly happened is up for debate, but something happened. Just to be clear, I am 100% on the side of that the COVID coronavirus was 100% a lab leak from the lab in Wuhan, right?
The one where it was named after?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's 100% my belief.
Yeah.
I feel like all the facts and all the information point directly to that.
From the facts I've received, not directly, there wasn't like, Stephanie, here's your information for the day. But from the facts that I've seen, whether or not, because who do you know what to believe? But from what I've seen, I also have that belief.
Right?
Yes.
But we don't need to go through the list of our beliefs in regards to this, that, or the other. What I wanted to say was...
But it doesn't matter, or does it?
It doesn't matter what we believe, right? Because it matters to us in our life. What I was getting at was the way that I don't know how to... What are the two factions in the COVID space? The two dissenting.
It's a real virus. It's not a real virus.
I guess we could say
like
masks
or pro-mask, anti-mask,
we'll just leave it at that.
Anti-vaccine.
Yeah, because typically if you're pro-mask, then you're going to fall down a line of believing this, that, or the other. And if you're anti-mask, you're going to fall down the line of believing this, that, or the other, right? So that's
what if they believe the same thing, except for when it comes to masks? And that's the only difference.
Yeah, it's just a generalization in order to talk about these two topics or these two different sides. So the side that believes in masks believes that Anthony Fauci is really out for our best interest in giving us accurate information, and that we should trust the information that not only he's giving us, but that the government's giving us.
Okay.
That side, right? I feel like what happened back in 2020 was they just kept doubling down.
Yeah.
Just double down, double down, double down, double down. All like over and over and over and over again. Like their initial bet was, here we go. This is a big pandemic. We got to lock down. 2 weeks later, it's like, well, it's really not that big. And it's really not what we thought it was. And it's this other thing now it's looking like. And they're like, nope, we're doubling down. Got to lock down. 2 months after that. Maybe not. Maybe locking down everybody wasn't the best idea. Nope. Definitely locking down. Got to put masks on. Better put 2 masks on. Got to wear masks everywhere you go. Doesn't make a difference. Whether you're outside. They just kept doubling down over and over and over and over and over again. And had zero willingness to look at the possibility that they were wrong. Or that information was wrong. Even when has now been proven wrong, right? Even when we've got the information and we've gotten so much more information than we had last year, and they were wrong. But yet, rather than say we were wrong or that we really, really fucked up, they just keep doubling down, right? That's all. Just keep doubling down over and over and over and over and over again. And then you have the other side that is just anti-everything, right? Where everything is the government trying to take away our rights and all of that stuff. And like normal, I fall somewhere in the middle. But I'm leaning more towards the side that thinks this is all a bunch of bullshit and that they're just continually fucking with us and trying to take away more and more of our rights, especially after Biden came out and mandated the vaccine for the federal employees and all businesses with more than 100. That mandate, I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's 100% ridiculous.
I do too.
And I think the fact that they think that they can do that, or like that, just the idea that that's the point that we're at, honestly, is kind of really disturbing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's disturbing, or do you think it's like everything else where same old, same old?
I think it's been like we have been, what's that analogy where if you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps right out. But if you leave a frog in water and
slowly warm it up, they don't realize they're dying.
Yeah. So I think this is,
we've been being cooked.
yeah, right. Like, this is outrageous. Like, vaccines should, no matter where you fall on that line of whether you're for the vaccine or not for the vaccine, it should be your choice. It should be where you're just like, wherever you are, if you're like, this vaccine is 100% valid, it saves lives, it is the answer, this is the right choice for me, so I will get it. Or, this is crazy, we're putting poison in our bodies, what are you doing, this isn't going to solve anything. Or some speculators have gone on to say that the vaccine is only going to make the variants more powerful and leave everybody vulnerable, that the vaccine itself is what's going to cause the divide. No matter where you are, that should be your choice, and you should be able to make that choice for yourself.
Right?
Like, if there's like,
even, I mean, because the counter argument to you, it's your choice, you should be able to make the choice, is at what point does it tip the scales to where it's a public health issue, where we have to, because if you choose not to do this thing, then you're now risking the lives of everybody that you come into contact with. Because that's the narrative.
That's the narrative.
But how fucking wrong is that? Like, that's just not accurate.
Yeah, they throw the numbers out there, but they're not throwing the survivability rate out there and the percentage rates out there. Like, it's just a fear-based, everybody's saying, and now what they've upped their game. You know, it gets in my head too with the Delta variant.
See, that's the thing, is you're really susceptible to the information that they disseminate.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Oh, sure. That was a compliment. I could tell that. That was
No.
very generous.
I just think it's an accurate, like, the way that you react to it and the way that it impacts you, I think is an example of exactly why it is used.
Yeah.
Because
probably.
people are susceptible like that.
Yeah, they are.
I am too.
So when the pandemic first started, I was very much like, I'm like, this is crazy. You can't do this. Like, I wasn't seeing it this way. And then it shifted. And then I became terrified.
Yeah.
And then I've shifted back out of that to like, no, this is not that. Yes, there are things happening, but things happen all the time. I'm being vague.
Yeah, let's be specific.
People are dying from COVID.
Yeah.
People die from the flu. They die from regular illnesses that happen. They go around all the time. I'm not minimizing anybody that's lost anybody from COVID. They should not have lost somebody from it. There are things that doctors should be doing and information that should be giving out. And I will get into that in a minute. I'm not, where I stand with my beliefs, it's not saying that I don't believe that people that have died from it. I think there's other factors that the majority of them had, and COVID was a part of it. I'm not taking away from anybody that lost anybody. Not in the slightest. But I started to get healthier, as do most people, when they stop living with that fear. And I've seen how it's affected me. I've seen how it's affected other people when just like that isolation, that deep like fear-based thing.
Yeah.
So I started to come out of it, and I was never going in that again. And the Delta variant came out, and I was laughing, not like, haha, here's this thing, but like, stop trying to scare people, saying it was going after their kids.
Yeah.
And now it's younger and younger, and in the schools, and we're starting to lose pediatric patients. And I'm like, and it was enough.
See,
it took a bit.
Doubled down.
And now I'm like, okay. And it's starting to scare me. Like, should I pull my son out of school? Like, our son, I'm sorry. Should we pull him out? Like, I don't want him. Like, he's too young to get the vaccine anyways. But, like, I definitely will not be putting that in his body. And it gets to be also his choice. And he does not want that in his body. But it started to, like, kind of play. And honestly, I started to lean more towards, like, maybe the vaccine was a good idea. But people are getting really sick from it. And they don't really okay, so I'm
You're
rambling.
okay. You're okay.
What do I? Yes, I do. Thank you for that. Like, they get you. You're the reason why fear media exists.
I am. We are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're you.
When have you been afraid?
The fact is, it affects me.
Yeah.
I run through the same what if scenarios in your head. We're wrong. The way that we have been treating this, the way that, You know, I mean, I run through those exact same scenarios. Last year when we got it, right? Or when I got it last year, allegedly, supposedly, right? And then obviously when we got it again at the beginning of this year.
And it was not supposedly.
Yeah, it was clear that we definitely had COVID. I run through all the same fear-based stuff when I see all of this information that you're seeing. It's not that I'm immune to it.
Okay.
I just choose not to like believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it as much as I believe the other side. Like all of it I take with a grain of salt, because the way that they have upped the level of fear mongering that they're putting out there is so much that effect of doubling down, where they're like, well, this bet didn't work, so the way that we're going to win this time is we're going to double our bet.
Yeah, so they go from your elderly to now it's coming after your kids.
Yeah.
So you didn't care about this. Well, here you go. Now it's going to come after your kids. And that's just where people
doubling down, upping the ante, and keep raising the bet so that they can win.
Yeah.
But it's like, at what point are we just done with government control in regards to these things? Because that's what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of like red states, obviously?
I have seen.
Definitely not California. But how a lot of the like sheriff's departments and the actual sheriffs of those departments aren't no mandates that
will come through.
Yeah, they're not upholding Biden's like that's what's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
The more that they double down with this stuff. Okay. It's like you said at the beginning, it's sad. And people have died. A lot of people have died.
People are still dying.
Yeah, people are still dying. But the idea that I think this is the beautiful thing about humans and the beautiful thing about just autonomy, right? Okay. My life. We agree to be here together in this community. But at the end, when I mean community, I mean like society as a whole, right?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to infringe upon your own individualistic rights to do what you choose to with your own body and your own life, just as much as I don't want you to do the same to me. So that's like the agreements that we've made with society across the board. Like, we don't need a law for that. That's pretty much, if you're going to be in this space with everybody, you kind of agree to that subconsciously in a way, right? And then, of course, there's some people that disagree and choose to obviously infringe and murder and rape and kill and pillage and plunder and everything like that. What I'm getting at is I don't think there is a level of something, whether it's COVID or something worse than, that I believe would ever be great enough that we would suddenly have to take away this, like, just the God-given right of who you are as an individual to choose and do what you want with your body. Even if it's like Walking Dead level of chaos.
Yeah.
I still think that we should, like, if there is a cure that has been proven over and over and over and over again, and like everybody is being cured with this magic pill, this is a fictional world, obviously, that I'm talking about. And there's somebody that doesn't want to take the pill, they get to. Yeah. They get to make that choice. Even if they turn into a zombie and kill somebody that took the pill. That's the agreement, that like the allowance for that to take place is what you sign up for when you choose to live in society. If you don't want to live in society and sign that agreement, then you're one of the people that goes and lives by themselves in the mountains or something. You're one of the people that isolates because you don't want to participate in that. But I think that's kind of the undercurrent of, I'm getting way off track. I'm looking at you trying to follow me and you're like, I have no idea what he's talking about anymore. COVID sucks. It pisses me off. I could go on a lot longer and down these rabbit holes and these things.
Is that where we're going to stop?
Is there more that you'd like to? I feel like
Yeah, you just opened up a can of worms and you're like, well, that's it. Moving on.
So the podcast is over? No, tell me.
Tell you? There's more to discuss with it. Like, what are the things that they know help?
With COVID?
What are the things that they know that even doctors aren't disputing? Right?
I don't know if there is anything that...
sunlight.
Yeah.
Being outside, exercise, being healthy. eating healthier foods. There are countless. I've seen everywhere they talk about, not just from like your sources, but like all over. Doctors are getting on everywhere. D3, zinc, C, quercetin. How do you say it? Quercetin? That, like these supplements are helping. And then eating healthy foods, being active,
Just being healthy,
outside,
having a healthy immune
meditating,
system.
watching your stress levels. So all of this helps boost your immune system. They aren't disputing that.
Yeah.
So that's something that they're in agreement in. But they're not putting anything for that. They're not putting anything for healthy foods, giving it out, making sure everybody has healthy supplements, making sure that people are getting exercise in ways, making sure that they're calm. They're like scaring the hell out of you. You're going to die. Here's a vaccine that may work, may not work, may hurt you, may not. Like all of these different things, but the things that actually help. And then on top of whatever controversial drugs you can put out there, but they have these natural things that they know work, and they're doing nothing to push that. So when you have something that you know works, like you were saying, the magic pill, like a lot of people can't exercise. There are people that can't, but there's other things that they can do to help. I feel like they're not pushing. I feel like you're gone. Like you're not even here anymore.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally listening.
It didn't feel like.
Where would I have gone to?
I don't know where you were at in your brain.
I was just following along, listening to you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I thought I had it. Go ahead.
Sometimes it's hard having. I keep losing my train of thought, and it's frustrating. It's hard having conversations with you sometimes.
With me?
Yeah.
How come?
Because we're on like kind of. We're not, we have similarities in this, but we are not on the same page.
Right.
Like I made a hard decision today to not participate in something that I wanted to very much because I know of a known exposure. And so I said no. And you would not have. And then the way you go with, like I keep losing my train of thought. I'm activated. Actually, so
was it by something that I said?
Yes, because you're like, it's because of you that they put those fair things out there, because of people like you, because they get you. And I was just like,
back to that thing.
Fucking was like, oh, I don't know. I just felt like that divide somehow in our relationship, where we are like, that's the power of it, where we are super connected and we have a bond and open communication, and we are generally on the same page. But just with that, you were like, it's because of you. Like, I feel like that divide just happened to come like right between us in that moment. And I was like on this side and you're on that side, and we didn't, this is obviously a lot more to do than our topic, but I'm done. I'm lost, and I feel too vulnerable, and I'm like ready to flee. I don't feel safe right now.
Take a deep breath.
Don't tell me what to do.
I was talking to myself, Stephanie.
Okay.
Did that come out? Sorry, I was supposed to say that quietly in my head.
Like, I'm super emotional right now. I'm ready to start crying.
I want to really talk about it because I'm nervous. I've been really hard on myself about not talking about this silly topic on our podcast. And it's something that I have judged myself for a lot, where I felt like I should have been sharing my honest views and opinions in regards to this topic.
Yes.
From the beginning. And I haven't been.
Okay. And
so I was very nervous because before we came up here to record, I had it click in my head, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to start talking about this on the podcast. So since I had that moment, which was right before we came up here, I've been really fucking nervous.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
So that I didn't, let it go and get caught up in the episode. So I was really anxious and really nervous. And then finally, when I started talking about it and we started having a conversation about it, I was like, all that anxiety was coming out, and I was going really, really fast.
Yeah, I get that.
And the only thing in regards to me, like what sparked in my head when I said, you're the reason, it wasn't it's because I was going too fast and I was excited. I mean, obviously, you know that you're affected by that. Mm-hmm. And so I was just, because it's like I explained later, I'm affected by it as well. We all are. Everybody's affected by it. That's why they do it. Mm-hmm. And so it just came out too quick. And it wasn't some sort of like, you know, putting a spotlight on you.
It sure felt like it. Know. My anxiety did not wear that well.
Yeah. And it's only, it's not only, but it's because of the way that I said it and because of, you know, me, obviously, when I'm excited about something and I start to, and especially when I'm passionate about something, I get very...
Are you a little in your face?
I get a little loud and a little, I tend to talk faster and talk over people and that's what was happening.
What was happening? That's what makes me. It's okay. It just affected me really hard.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. Thank you for,
The health thing, that's one of the big things that is frustrating as well. Is but they never do. Like you never, I shouldn't say you never, but when they do stories in the news about being healthy or whatever, right? The importance of health. It's always like a side story.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it should be the main thing, right?
It should be the main thing.
It should be like super important. Mm-hmm. And this is why. And all those different reasons that we all know. But instead,
like here's a lifestyle that you can live. Here's tools and tips on how to do that. I'm not talking about diet, gym, culture, like so-called like bikini bod hard thing, that all the stuff that they throw out there. I'm not talking about that because everybody's bikini body. It's like just healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not being sedentary. Sedimentary. Thank you.
Metamorphic.
Okay. Get like moving, having some movement.
Igneous.
Getting some like air, getting healthy nutrition. Like it is easy to get junk food. Junk food is where
cheap.
the cost effective is. And then when you have a hungry belly and you only have a little bit of money, you're not able to buy the expensive healthy foods.
Yeah.
You have to buy the fillers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
It's like you're saying, like instead of doctors saying like, here's like our country having affordable food, having healthy food, giving those kind of subsidiaries instead of to big pharma and to big businesses. It's like, no, here's a pill for that. This is going to cause all of these side effects and here's pills for that. So it's never about health. It's about profiting off the ill.
Money.
And that's where I think COVID is too. It's about
money.
Like you were saying.
Yeah. That's what's so sick.
Yeah.
Is that the current state of the world, all the bad things that are happening are because of money.
Yeah.
I mean, there are natural disasters.
There are.
Those are bad things.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything that we've done, everything that we've caused, everything that we've created, it all was done for money. And that's what is happening now. And it's very, very sad. I think that is also what's happening in Texas with the abortion law that they put into place.
It's about money.
I think it's 100% about money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's because what are politics?
Money.
Right?
Money and power.
Right?
What is power? Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The political sphere is all about money.
Yeah.
So the idea that something this big and this divisive going into effect in Texas, you think that comes down to like there was an abundance of people that wanted that?
Yeah.
Because of their belief. Of course, there's people that believe that law is wonderful and that it's great, right? But I'm talking about in that national big picture of why this actually happened and why this took place. It's all money. and it's disgusting.
They used money to fuel it too.
Uh-huh.
Like you can sue people for $10,000.
Yeah.
They made it so like you will profit off of this too.
Yeah. And it's sad.
There's another aspect that I just learned with that.
Do you want the computer?
No, I've got it on here. I haven't heard of it. So I came across a TikTok that was talking. They gave a little bit about some of that in the abortion law that they have going on in Texas and how other states are trying to copycat it. And what it comes down to, there's a book called Birthed Earth, and it's by Ben Wattenberg, who is... It's not good. It's not good. So basically what he was saying, he was an advisor.
Oh, it's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Okay.
He was an advisor.
Not a book that we recommend.
No. It's just, this is where the information, this is where they're citing it from.
Okay,
and
okay.
I'm citing my sources.
He was an advisor.
He was an advisor to the presidents up until, I think he wrote the book in 1987.
Okay.
So I don't know if he wrote it in 87, was still advising the presidents at that point. But what he was saying is that we are, as a country, losing, I don't know how we put it, because it's just shitty. He's basically saying that, like, the white people are fading out. And so what they need to do to stop that. And he was like, here are the 3 things, because we're losing the white power of it. And he's advising the presidents. So
you mean the racist presidents?
Exactly. All of them. He was talking about, how did he go about it? Oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher it because I just heard it and it's just disgusting. But he was talking about how, like, stopping immigration from coming in. So stopping any BIPOC from coming in. Of course, those weren't his words. But then, like, well, they can't do that because money is still bringing in. And then what they needed to do was stop. I don't know how. I'm so sorry to stop. I'm going to butcher this. And I'm not trying to do this word like that justice. I just want the message to come across. My words are failing me. But stopping any kind of, how they put it, is like interracial breeding. So keeping whites with the whites. And how they would just then stop women from having abortions. And they're like, well, they can't do that because then it would also stop women of color. And then how they went about it, they looked at the numbers and they're building the wall. And they're like, this has been it's like Trump did this, but this has been something that has been like in the works of trying to cause that segregation. To stop immigrants from coming in. And they said that it was like 60% of women that are getting abortions are white. And so by stopping the ban or stopping women from getting abortions, then they are like, it's like how the church, LDS church, is always like recruiting for members. And it's the same thing. If 60% of it, so they're still in the majority of white births that are coming through to keep the country white. That's insane. Like, that's the first I've heard of that. So there's like a whole bunch of different things to go with that. But that was one aspect because I have my own thoughts on abortion. And I think it is absolutely, I will not like hide this all. It is the woman's choice. It is the woman's choice and hers alone. It should be legal and it should be up to her. And they're like, I can go off on any tangent that you want me to on that. But I am 100% pro-choice. And anyone that is pro-life, like, show me your pro-life beyond your pro-birth. Because that's all it is pro-birth. There's nothing after that. There's no support. I'm not going to go on that tangent like I said. I can. But this is the first aspect I heard where it was even a racism thing. Of where they're just trying to keep colors other than white out of America. Like, how is white the whole thing still? Like, how is...
Right.
And even it would go to that. I'm like... That's from the 80s and that is just coming up. And so that's a book that's been pushed aside and hearing, but these are like advisors to the presidents of the United States. And those things are still trickling down. That's why the Republicans, so it said, are still pushing for that. But I had never heard of that before. And I have to do more research, because I also might look at that and be like, oh, it turns out that was false. But from what I have now and seeing that, there's the book, there's the author. And I hadn't seen it from that perspective. It didn't even dawn on me that was a factor, that it was about trying to keep America white. How sick.
It's, yeah.
Okay, I went off. Where are you? Did I lose you?
Not at all. Not at all. Did you forget that I'm elevated?
I didn't know that you were elevated. I thought, this is not a podcast to have with elevated Craig. I feel like crap over here.
I know, and
like
I feel so bad.
I need you, like I don't know.
I'm totally right here.
Okay.
Like, you haven't lost me anywhere.
This is just, it's whatever. This is intense conversations. It's things that I get very afraid to talk about because I lose my voice, and because I can't remember words, and I lose my train of thought because my fucking trauma brain kicks in and I can't speak and I just sound like a fucking idiot. And so all of these things that I'm passionate about, that I want to help, and then I'm using my voice to help, I can't use my voice to help, and I just sound like an idiot. And I feel like whenever I speak, it's like, that's probably why you hit me so hard with that one of like, that's because of you. I feel like whenever I speak, all I am doing is checking boxes for the other side, the oppressors, because I can't get it out right. And so I'm frustrated, and then you're sitting there, I'm like, I was so dumb you can't even talk. Like, I can't. I feel very insignificant in this moment, and very, I feel silly, is the way I'll put it. I just feel very inadequate.
I know there's a big disparity between obviously how we see ourselves and how the outside world sees us, right?
Yeah.
Are
you about to fill me up with compliments? Please don't.
Nope, I definitely wasn't.
Okay.
I was going to say, you're so good looking. That's what I was going to say. It's such a big topic. When you were talking about everything, I don't know if it was earlier this week, or maybe we talked about it on the podcast at some point, or I don't know, but I talked about how maybe we're at a point where there's too much information and too much, like, because we talk about over the course of our week, and, you know, we talk about the issues in Afghanistan and everything there. And it's like all of these things that are happening, maybe we're not supposed to know about them. Maybe the way that, once again, humans are supposed to live as those small hunter-gatherer communities, right? 70, 100, maybe 125 people. And that's it. So we're not supposed to know what's going on the other side of the world, because it's not designed that way. So that's just a side note of what came up when you were talking. Because I was like, the passion that you have for this topic comes through when you speak.
Good.
And it is a very big deal, and it's a very important topic. And then it's like, well, what do we do, right? It's a very big, important topic on a list of very big, important topics. Mm-hmm. There's so many. And it's just like, fuck.
I agree. I think the another factor with that, about it being a race thing, would also explain why the mortality rate for births are lower for BIPOC. And that's really fucking scary to think about. I don't think that we have too much information. I think the problem is and has always been that we have too little information, that the truth always gets hidden and buried and shied away, and the narratives that pursue or not pursue but give power to the story that of those in power are the ones that told. Like the truth gets hidden away. If more people had the truth, then things would shift. I think we are supposed to know these things because the people in power, their big thing is secrets. They don't want you to know. They want to keep it in and then just feed you the narrative that feeds their agenda. Oh.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. But obviously I like playing the devil's advocate. And in my...
It was just a thought.
Well, I agree. I think we are supposed to know the truth of things. And I think we are supposed to like have that information and be connected, and secrets aren't a thing because everybody knows everybody. And that's what, like, when you break it back down to like those small little tribal communities, you would know everything.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any secrets. Do you know what I mean? And if that's all your world is, and you may not even have awareness of not only that, like imagine if you didn't realize that there was another continent or there was another side of this earth.
Yeah.
What if your knowledge of what was real was just simply that, what you saw? And the people, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, if that's your world and your world is in some beautiful forested, lush green land with your tribe, that's a wonderful existence.
That would be wonderful.
Right? And there isn't the knowledge of something else because you just don't have that knowledge. And that's not a bad thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Obviously,
that's not a bad thing.
I'm rambling. 'Cause I'm a rambling man. Is there another aspect of not necessarily the abortion issue, but something else that's going on right now that you want to speak to?
I don't think I'm bringing up anything right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. What do we... You got something to bring up? I'll speak to something else the best I can.
What do you think's got you so much?
I think it's...
Do you think it's a lot of shit outside of this episode? Just like life today?
It's life today, and it's these topics. Like, I don't know what the right thing is with COVID. I don't know what the right thing is. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know if I'm helping or I'm hurting. Like, I don't know. And I see both sides. I see both sides very clearly. I do. I see both sides very clearly.
I do too.
And I can feel both sides. And I don't know what the right thing is. Nobody knows what the right thing is. Everybody's just doing their best with what they can do. And what's happening in Texas and what's looking to spread on other states is horrific, and it's terrifying. So I'm very very affected by them. And so I'm reactive right now. That's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
It's okay. And freaking getting elevated on a, like, those are for fun podcasts. Like, this is a new Energy is Love mandate. I'm gonna create a mandate.
Okay.
Yeah, like elevation only occurs on fun, lighthearted episodes.
Okay.
And if one chooses to elevate, one cannot start the episode off with fucking heavy topics. While the other one's over here like emotional, and you're like, do you know I'm elevated? I've almost cried so many times. I've been trying to hold it back because I know once like it starts, I'm done. I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna be sobbing the whole time, and I don't want to be over here just like. So that's a new rule for the podcast. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gonna follow that?
Yeah.
Why would you follow that?
Why would I?
Yeah. You don't have to do that. I was making a joke with the word mandate. But also, I mean it. Like, I want you to follow it, but you obviously don't have to.
Oh, my goodness.
You get to choose.
Yes, it feels like it.
I also get to choose. Be like, if you start a hard conversation, I'm going to have like a squirt bottle or something. So if you're elevated and you're like,
Squirt me right in the
let's
mouth.
talk about like this heartbreaking thing. And I was like, psh, psh, psh.
In tonight's episode, tonight,
Yeah.
right? If you happen to be listening to this or watching this tonight, then it's tonight's episode. If not, just push pause and come back to it tonight. In talking about some of this stuff, it has made me realize even more, like continuing, ongoing basis of how much I censor on our podcast.
Yeah.
And how much that makes me feel like I'm a fraud.
Oh.
And just fake. Because I mean, we talk so often about how open and vulnerable we are on this podcast. And I'm like, but you haven't been being real.
You have been being real.
I know.
You just have chosen things to not talk about. I have also chosen things to not talk about.
Which is fine, right?
And I will choose things to not talk about because
Yeah.
I get the right to do that, as do you.
Exactly.
And when you're ready to talk about things, you get to. There's no shoulds. But if you want to talk about these things, absolutely.
Just not when I'm elevated.
Well, you can do it when you're elevated. Just don't start off with telling me I'm the problem.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Yeah.
I'm dead. That horse is beat. It's done. No, I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't know that you've been wanting to talk about it.
Yeah. I have been.
Yeah.
So we did. And we'll continue to.
Okay. I'm aware and on board.
Yeah.
And
I have another controversial
bring
topic.
it. I'm ready. What do you got? I might squirt you. I might not. Let's see.
I don't know if I'll be able to get this one out.
Okay.
Maybe.
Are you trying to fart? Like, I don't know if I'll be able to get this one out. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I know you're not. I'm making a joke because I'm uncomfortable and I'm scared about what you're going to say. Bring it.
No, it was the thing that we talked about a few days ago in regards to social media and pictures of breast cancer survivors. Do you remember that topic?
Yes.
Do you want to help me out?
I don't think if you can't even say that, how do you think you're going to carry a conversation right now?
I'm carrying a conversation just fine.
Yes, you are. You were saying in no way are you saying women should not be, like breast cancer survivors, should not be able to have their photographs, their pictures taken.
Right.
And like they absolutely should.
Yes.
But you're saying like why is it only acceptable when they have had their breast removed?
Yeah, I'm going to try to, because you're,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to say it. I'm just trying to tell your thought. This isn't my thought. It's yours.
Because this is a big deal. When it hit my thought process, now can I get it out?
I don't know.
So it was a picture.
I didn't get it when you told me the first time, so.
I don't think you get it yet.
I don't think I do either.
So there was a picture of a breast cancer survivor topless. And it was on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I mean, topless woman with her scars from having her breasts removed.
Okay.
Right. And I was thinking about, because Facebook has a lot of standards when it comes to sex and nudity and things like that.
For women. Mm-hmm.
Right? For women. And they'll show that picture of a topless woman with her breasts removed and scars. But they won't show a topless picture of a woman who hasn't had her breasts removed.
Yeah.
Right? Just a topless woman. And so then I thought about like the subconscious undertone and subliminal programming that sends to women and young girls. That like the fucked upness of you're this sex symbol, but we're not going, like the shame of not showing, you know, your nipples or your breasts or whatever, unless you chop them off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just this really subverted messaging of like one is acceptable and one isn't, when they both are acceptable, but yet the message being portrayed by that dynamic. And I'm not a woman.
Yeah, I was wondering too, like what brought that up as like, hey, this is an injustice to women. Why was it breast cancer survivors and not men on there with the same, like with their shirts off? Like men have nipples too,
Right?
because women can have their nipples covered and have stuff shown.
Yeah.
But women's nipples, women's breasts are not. So why did it like spark your interest when it was another woman, but not when it was another chest with nipples? It's just thought.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh my goodness, that was a big yawn. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just, for whatever reason, I'm like, that's bullshit.
It's and not bullshit that they are showing the strength of survivors.
Correct.
And allowing them to stand in their courage
yes.
and not hide.
Correct.
Yeah, not that.
Nothing to be ashamed of, right? And it is a beautiful, I mean,
It is.
survive, right?
Yes. You're saying it's bullshit how women are just sexualized and shamed
Yeah.
and hidden.
Yeah. And it's like, I just think of it as like it, because we're all subjected to societal programming from images. And I mean, obviously, right, all that different like media and everything like that. But I'm like, the mixed messaging of that message,
Yeah.
right, is so, it's like super narcissistic behavior from society to send like this twisted mixed message.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so it's like, what are women supposed to think? What, you know, it's, I don't know. I just think about you and I think about our girls and I'm like, fuck that. That pisses me off. But there's a lot of things that piss me off.
Me too.
And perhaps we'll talk about them on the podcast.
Perhaps.
Oh my goodness.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I get a spot on my leg. This has been happening a lot lately.
Okay.
It's on my right leg
Mm-hmm.
and it's down by my ankle
Okay.
and it's on the inside.
Okay.
And it feels like a bug is crawling up my skin
Yikes.
in one spot.
Uh-huh.
Like it feels like something's on
You
my
got a little
skin.
tingly?
Yeah.
Does it feel like a little like
But it's
sounds
always
like a little nerve thing?
it's always the same spot
Uh-huh.
and
There's never a bug.
there's never a bug.
Yeah.
What is that?
Sounds like you have a little nerve, like,
A nerve?
yeah, it's like you have a little fire. You have a little nerve.
A nerve fire?
A nerve fire. A little nerve firing down there.
Why would that happen?
Probably because you got elevated and decided to have a hard topic podcast while your unelevated partner was sitting here like, what the fuck do I do? So now you're like sending signals down your legs. It's your runaway signals. When you feel that, you're supposed to be like, okay, go.
Oh, you're cute.
I don't know what it's from.
Well, thank you for hanging in there with us, listeners.
Viagra.
Viagra?
We don't take Viagra.
What?
I don't know why I was going to make something funny. I was like, why so? I was trying to think of, all I could think of is phalange. And I'm like, that doesn't work. So I tried to come up with a medication. And Viagra is the first thing that came out. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Nobody's going to believe that I'm not elevated. I'm just this dumb. Oh
You did so good.
And I'm panicking. I'm like, I don't know why. Okay, it is a fact. I learned a new fact, okay? Trauma affects the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve affects your speech. So when you are activated, which is why I can't fucking talk, I say my trauma brain, it is a legit thing. So not only do you lose your train of thought, you mix up your words, you can't get your words out. It feels like you're being choked. You use words that don't fit. So I'm sorry. Just be glad I didn't. I don't know. We should end the podcast. We should just end it. Let's just go. Let's never record again.
I was trying to. I was thanking them for hanging in there.
Can you edit that part out? You never edit anything. Can you edit
somebody
that
yelled
one?
Viagra.
I know. He surprised
Out
the
of nowhere,
shit out of you too.
blue pills started pelting me in the face.
I was trying to find something to blame your nerve tingle on. I don't know why I said that.
It's so cute.
I'm so sorry.
Anyways, thank you for it was really worth hanging until the end.
Just end this shit. I'm done. You gotta get a new host. I'm out.
See you next week.
Nuh-uh.